Deprived of its historical name, Ukrainian New York lived for almost 70 years. In 1951, it was decided to rename it to Novgorodske, and only in 2019 the small village again began to proudly be called New York. There are many historical versions of its appearance. According to one, the settlement was created in 1892 by German colonists, and it got its name because the wife of one of the founders was an American and missed her homeland. According to another legend, the Germans allegedly hoped that the settlement would begin to develop as dynamically as its overseas namesake. In those years, the German colonists created the infrastructure of New York. They built brick and tile factories, a plant for the production of agricultural machinery, as well as steam mills. This four-story building was built in 1903. It managed to survive during the Second World War, but in the spring of last year, this historical cultural monument completely burnt out from a Russian shell. New York is one of the few settlements that has been literally on the front line since 2014. Only a kilometer separates the village from the positions of the Russian invaders, and with their shells, the invaders burn New York almost daily. During the years of Russian aggression, New York has been bombarded with everything. Recently, the Russians have replaced artillery shelling with aviation. During the day, up to 6 trucks of 250 and 500 kilogram high explosive bombs could reach, and all in residential areas.
There are also rockets, but air bombs got to the point that during daylight hours from 8 to 8 in the evening they flew around the city. Of these, 4 500 and 2 250 kilogram bombs. This week is quieter.
So the lives of New Yorkers are being taken.
Yes.
Here, local residents already clearly know what flies to the settlement. The sounds of aircraft missiles can be distinguished from the operation of their defense systems. What is the sound when the air bomb flies? How to distinguish it?
It's like a car at speed. You know how it jumps and it flies indiscriminately. The rocket does not do this. It still flies almost inaudibly. It is audible, but not so loud.
A resident of New York, Mykola, has not left the village since the beginning of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. This is where the man was born and raised. He says from the hospital in which he was born, there is practically nothing left. He forced his daughter to evacuate, but he and his wife do not want to leave their native village.
It was Ukrainian, it remains Ukrainian, but you just understand that we live in one day. No one knows when the enemy will make a move.
Is that how you would describe life in New York right now?
To be honest, we do not live on a powder keg. We sit on it and look at the wick that is now burning. It may explode or may not. It's like a casino game.
Do you have faith that everything will be fine?
Everything will be good.
Most of the people left in New York are pensioners. Their life is simple: housekeeping, collecting firewood for cooking at the stake, and believing that the shelling will stop someday. We trust in God. Everyone will pay for all this. Everyone who unleashed it, started it, they will answer before God. For destroying, killing, He knows everything. With all the troubles of the war, life goes on in Ukrainian New York. Power lines are constantly being restored here after regular shelling. There is water and supplies of everything necessary.
Shops are open, the market is closed. There is enough bread, enough humanitarian aid. Now we are preparing for the winter period, so we are bringing in lanterns, potbelly stoves, and coal was distributed by a ton free of charge with delivery. At this point everything is not very bad. If it weren't for the shelling, we would have put things in order and live much better.
In 2014, New York was under Russian occupation for about 3 months. Then the Ukrainian troops drove the aggressor out of the settlement and built a powerful line of defense, which is still too tough for the Russian invaders. Reported by Diana Kolesnik, Alona Gramova, UATV News.